Batman has been called a hero, a vigilante, a criminal, a symbol, and even a threat to the government. He is a dangerous man who has accumulated enormous power without answering to any authority. To his enemies, he is the only opponent worthy of their obsession. But the people who truly know Bruce Wayne understand that every version of Batman reveals only one part of the man behind a mask. Some see his courage, others see his paranoia, his pain, or his inability to abandon the mission. And perhaps no one understands Batman completely, because Bruce reveals a different version of himself to every person who enters his life. Gordon and Waller see him as a power outside the system. James Gordon and Amanda Waller agree that Batman possesses resources, information, and authority that no single person should control. The difference is that Gordon learned to trust the man behind the mask, while Waller considers any power she cannot supervise to be dangerous. Gordon met Batman when Gotham was controlled by corrupt police officers, compromised politicians, and criminals protected by the system itself. At first, he saw only a vigilante who entered crime scenes and operated outside the law. Over time, however, Gordon realized that Batman confronted threats the police could not reach. He does not approve of every method Batman uses, but he knows that Bruce is not motivated by money, recognition, or political influence. To Gordon, the bat signal represents hope, but it is also proof that Gotham needs a masked vigilante because its institutions have failed. Waller looks at those same qualities and reaches the opposite conclusion. Batman possesses military technology, surveillance systems, files containing secret identities, and plans designed to neutralize some of the most powerful beings on the planet. The fact that he has no superpowers makes him even more concerning, because no one knows exactly what Bruce has prepared. Waller respects his intelligence and accepts his help when necessary, but she will never believe that a man with that much power should operate without answering to an authority. Bane considers him the only man worth breaking. Bane never wanted to simply defeat Batman in a fight. He wanted to prove that he was physically, mentally, and strategically superior. That is why he released the prisoners from Arkham Asylum and forced Bruce to fight his enemies for days. Only after Batman was completely exhausted did Bane enter the Batcave and break his back. The brutality of that plan also revealed a form of respect. Bane understood that Batman could not be treated like an ordinary opponent. Both men had transformed suffering into strength. Bruce did it after the murder of his parents, while Bane survived a childhood spent inside a prison. They learned to control fear through intelligence, discipline, and an almost impossible level of determination. To Bane, however, Bruce limits his own strength through moral rules. Breaking Batman means proving that preparation, intelligence, and determination are not enough when someone refuses to use every available method. Bane does not only want to defeat the Bat, he wants to destroy the idea that Bruce's moral code makes him stronger. Ra's al Ghul believes Bruce is wasting his potential. Ra's al Ghul recognizes an extremely rare combination of intelligence, discipline, physical ability, and determination within Batman. Instead of simply eliminating him, Ra's wants Bruce to become his successor. To him, Batman will be the perfect heir to lead the League of Assassins and continue his mission of reshaping the world. Both men want to fight violence, corruption, and the destruction caused by humanity. The difference lies in their methods. Batman believes every life has value and refuses to kill. Ra's is willing to exterminate entire populations if he believes the sacrifice will protect the planet. He admires Bruce's conviction, but considers his compassion an obstacle to permanent change. Bruce's relationship with Talia and the existence of Damian made their conflict even more personal. Ra's does not view Batman only as an enemy, but as part of his own bloodline. To him, Bruce is wasting his genius by protecting a single city when he could control the future of civilization. Batman is not the enemy Ra's wants to destroy. He is the heir who continues refusing his destiny. Wonder Woman and Catwoman see the man behind the mask. Wonder Woman and Catwoman know different sides of Bruce, but neither believes the image of a cold creature who is incapable of feeling fear. Diana recognizes his courage when facing impossible threats, while Selina understands why he keeps love and happiness permanently beyond his reach. Diana has lived among warriors, gods, and mythological creatures, but she still recognizes extraordinary courage in Batman. Bruce confronts enemies capable of destroying him with a single strike, yet continues standing beside the Justice League. To Wonder Woman, his lack of powers has never been a weakness. The real problem is that Bruce often confuses vulnerability with a loss of control. Diana knows that admitting fear, trusting other people, or accepting help would require as much courage from him as any battle. Selina Kyle understands that barrier in a far more intimate way. She knows that Batman and Bruce Wayne are inseparable parts of the same man. Catwoman admires his determination, but understands that he uses the mission as an excuse to deny himself happiness. Bruce believes that loving someone creates a weakness his enemies can exploit. Selina recognizes an even deeper fear. If Bruce accepts that he can be happy, he must also admit that his childhood tragedy does not need to control the rest of his life. The Robins see him as a father, mentor, and warning. The Robins met Batman as a hero and mentor, but they also lived with his deepest failures. All of them see Bruce as a father figure, although each one learned a different lesson from the man behind the symbol. Dick Grayson found someone in Bruce who understood the pain of losing his parents. As the first Robin, he admired Batman and wanted to follow in his footsteps. But as he grew older, Dick realized that he did not want to inherit Bruce's obsession, isolation, or inability to trust others. To Nightwing, Bruce is a father and an inspiration, but also a warning. Dick's greatest achievement was learning everything Batman could teach him without losing the hope and lightness that separated him from his mentor. Jason Todd has a much more painful view of Bruce. Batman rescued him from the streets and gave him a family, but Jason was later murdered by the Joker. After returning to life, he discovered that Batman still refused to kill the person responsible for his death. To Red Hood, this suggested that Bruce's moral code mattered more to him than his own son. Jason still loves him and recognizes him as a father, but he has never completely overcome the belief that Batman chose to protect his principles instead of avenging him. Tim Drake became Robin because he realized that Batman needed someone beside him. After discovering the identities of Bruce and Dick, Tim noticed that Batman was becoming more violent and unstable. He did not only believe Batman needed help during missions. He believed Bruce needed someone capable of preventing him from losing himself inside those missions. To Tim, Batman may be the world's greatest detective, but his judgment becomes worse whenever he believes he must solve everything alone. Damian Wayne grew up believing that he would become Batman's heir. Trained by the League of Assassins, he initially viewed Bruce's refusal to kill as a weakness. Over time, Damian learned that controlling violence requires more strength than simply using it. He wants to surpass Batman, but he also constantly searches for his approval. To Damian, Bruce is the standard he must reach, the hero he tries to imitate, and the father whose recognition means more than he is willing to admit. Alfred and Superman believe his humanity is his greatest strength. Alfred and Superman met Bruce during completely different periods of his life. Alfred raised the child who would one day become Batman, while Clark met the hero prepared to confront gods. Even so, both believe that Bruce's humanity, rather than his intelligence or resources, is what truly makes him extraordinary. Before Batman existed, Alfred saw a child attempting to survive the death of his parents. Later, he treated Bruce's injuries, protected his secrets, and remained beside him through his most dangerous nights. But Alfred never viewed Batman as an indestructible symbol. To him, Bruce would always be his son. Alfred's greatest hope was not to see him defeat every criminal in Gotham. It was to make Bruce understand that surviving a tragedy did not mean he had to spend the rest of his life punishing himself. Superman admires the powerless man who enters impossible battles while knowing he could die. Clark and Bruce have disagreed because of Batman's paranoia and his plans to neutralize the Justice League. Even so, Superman knows the man who welcomed traumatized children into his family, helped Gotham as Bruce Wayne, and continues believing that even his enemies may be capable of redemption. To Clark, what makes Batman extraordinary is not his ability to challenge gods. It is his decision to continue valuing life after witnessing the worst of humanity. The Joker believes Batman is just as insane as he is. The Joker considers Batman another man who lost his sanity after experiencing tragedy. The difference is that Bruce transformed his madness into rules, symbols, and a mission. While the Joker uses chaos to prove that nothing has meaning, Batman attempts to bring order to the world that destroyed his family. That is why the Joker rarely wants to simply kill him. His real objective is to make Batman abandon his code. He destroys lives, attacks Bruce's allies, and creates situations in which killing appears to be the only solution. If Batman crosses that line, the Joker can claim that all of Bruce's morality was only a lie waiting for the right moment to break. Batman represents a contradiction the Joker cannot accept. Bruce also experienced loss, suffering, and madness, but continues choosing not to become a killer. The Joker's greatest defeat would not be dying at Batman's hands. It would be admitting that Bruce faced the worst the world had to offer and prove that one bad day does not have to determine what a person becomes. To Gordon, Batman is a necessary ally. To Waller, he is an unsupervised threat. His enemies see an opponent who must be broken, corrupted, or transformed, while his allies and children know the man behind the symbol. But who truly understands Bruce Wayne better than anyone else? Leave your choice in the comments, give the video a like, and subscribe to Nerd Society.